In early 1972, humanity launched its first interstellar emissary, Pioneer 10, out of the solar system, designed to drift blindly through the galactic void. On the off chance an alien intelligence intercepted this drifting debris, astronomer Carl Sagan and his team affixed a message to it. They wanted to answer 3 specific questions for our cosmic neighbors: where we are, when we are, and who we are. This schematic shows exactly what we sent. To establish a universal yardstick, the top left diagrams a neutral hydrogen atom. That scales the 2 human silhouettes. And the starburst pattern on the left is a galactic map of pulsars, pointing directly back to our sun. We handed a map with our precise location in space and time to anyone capable of catching it. We willingly broadcast our exact coordinates to a dark, unknown universe, without knowing who or what might be listening. Not everyone was thrilled. Prominent British radio astronomer Sir Martin Ryle was terrified by the prospect of establishing contact. He argued that an intelligence capable of retrieving the probe might possess the technology to cross the galaxy, colonize the Earth, and strip mine its resources. Ryle demanded international discussions before any future broadcasts. Instead, 2 years later, we used the massive Arecibo radio telescope to blast a 3-minute beam of radiation toward a star cluster 24,000 light-years away. Fortunately for anyone worried about an invasion, our interstellar directions were completely broken. Sagan relied on pulsars acting as perfect cosmic clocks. We now know they suffer from unpredictable speed-ups and glitches. Over thousands of years, those coordinate markers scramble themselves into nonsense. We also botched the basic math. By illustrating all 3 antenna struts on the probe schematic, the visual perspective implies the major axis is vertical. If an alien uses the probe's diameter to measure the human figures, they will calculate our height as roughly 10 centimeters taller than reality. We spent decades debating the existential risk of a hyper-advanced alien fleet arriving to conquer us. We desperately tried to paint a giant target on our own backs, but we accidentally protected ourselves by handing them a flawed map filled with broken clocks and bad math. This golden disc bolted to the side of the Voyager probes is an analog phonograph record. Launched in 1977, it upgraded our interstellar outreach from a simple plaque to a mixtape. It contains music, spoken greetings in 58 languages, and acoustic frequencies that aliens are instructed to translate back into photographs. But the imagery etched into those grooves was heavily censored. The naked human silhouettes from the Pioneer plaque had caused minor media controversy, so NASA religiously vetted this new message. They deliberately excluded photographs of nuclear mushroom clouds, crime, war, and poverty. The creators made a tactical decision to feign absolute peacefulness. By erasing our violence and capacity for destruction, they hoped to appear harmless to any predatory intelligence that might intercept the probe. The Voyager records established a precedent. By officially endorsing interstellar communication, NASA opened a door that couldn't be closed. Soon, unregulated actors realized they didn't need a space agency to participate. The Golden Record functions as the ultimate cosmic dating profile. It is an elaborate lie built entirely on omitting our worst traits to make a good first impression. In 1983, a Japanese magazine contest culminated with 2 half-drunk astronomers beaming a message at the star Altair. Alongside illustrations of dinosaurs and DNA, they included the English word toast, explicitly equated to the chemical formula for ethanol alcohol. 3 years later, an American artist recorded contractions from within the human vaginal tract, manipulated the pressure oscillations into audio, and blasted them from an MIT radio telescope. An Air Force colonel shut the broadcast down after 20 minutes. By the late 1990s, interstellar communication became a commercial product. For $50, ventures like Encounter 2001 offered to beam your unvetted internet thoughts and samples of your hair follicles directly toward nearby stars. The noise peaked in 2008. From a radar station sitting in the Arctic Circle, a company transmitted a 6-hour continuous loop of a Doritos commercial straight at the Ursa Major constellation. We went from whispering highly curated lies about our culture to standing blindfolded in a dark forest, screaming garbage at the top of our lungs. Late one evening in August 1977, an Ohio telescope picked up something terrifyingly specific. It detected a 72-second burst of radio energy, 30 times louder than normal background noise. It was perfectly tuned to the exact universal frequency of hydrogen. The signal was completely unmodulated and possessed an impossibly narrow bandwidth. It bore all the hallmarks of a deliberate technosignature. The reviewing astronomer circled the alphanumeric sequence on his printout and wrote one word in the margin: "Wow." The WOW signal remains the most credible instance of potential alien contact. Yet we waited 35 years to say anything back. In 2012, National Geographic finally organized a reply by crowdsourcing thousands of celebrity tweets and beaming them into space. But the execution was a disaster. The Arecibo telescope they used physically could not point at the origin of the WOW signal, so they just aimed the dish in the complete opposite direction. To make matters worse, the massive data load from the tweets caused the aging transmitter to overheat and break down. Look at our targets. We've eagerly handed our biological data and solar system coordinates to volatile red dwarfs that incinerate their own planets with plasma flares, and to binary systems far too chaotic to support life. We are a tiny, vulnerable speck yelling into a void filled with billions of older, more advanced systems. We have to ask ourselves, is the cosmos completely silent because we are entirely alone, or is it silent because everything else out there learned a long time ago to keep its mouth shut?